It was the summer of 1893, a time of wonder and promise. Chicago, risen from the ashes of its great fire, was suddenly the center of the world. The world's Columbian exposition, the White City, glowed with newly harnessed alternating current. Millions came to Lake Michigan's shore to marvel at invention, culture, and spectacle. A towering Ferris wheel spun like a promise, a nation reaching for the heavens. Science and industry felt unstoppable. The fair became a collective breath of awe. But just a few miles away in Englewood, a different kind of structure took shape, a dark counterpoint to the fair's brilliant light. H. Holmes moved with easy charm, blue eyes, a courteous smile, and a darkness few could imagine. As the White City dazzled, he was building its antithesis, a monument not to progress but to depravity. His name was Herman Webster Mudgett, but the world would know him as Dr. H. Holmes. He arrived in Chicago in 1886, cut from the cloth of raw ambition. Handsome, intelligent, disarmingly charismatic, he presented himself as doctor, pharmacist, inventor, respectable on every front. He worked at Elizabeth Holton's pharmacy, then she disappeared. Holmes said she moved to California. No one questioned the charming Dr. Holmes. He bought the lot on credit, promising a hotel for the coming fair. Crews churned so no one could grasp the whole design. To investors he was shrewd, to young assistants, eligible, to suppliers, solid credit, all lies. He wasn't building a hotel, he was building a trap. And the fair would supply the victims. At 63rd and South Wallace, a 3-story block-long building rose. Locals called it the Castle, a respectable face for a malevolent creation. The upper floors told a different story. Over 100 rooms, tiny, windowless, soundproof, arranged to confuse and trap. Architecture as weapon. Trap doors hid greased chutes straight to the basement. Gas lines fed sealed rooms. A single valve could asphyxiate a guest. Peepholes let him watch, choose, wait. Not a hotel for the living, a factory for the dead. As the fair opened, the castle stood ready. The castle's true purpose lay in its basement, the building's dark heart. Here the chutes from above terminated, part laboratory, part torture chamber, part crematorium, a place of methodical scientific horror, equipment to process and erase human bodies. Holmes sold skeletons and organs to schools and doctors. Industrial haze kept suspicions at bay. When police finally entered, they found bone fragments, scraps of clothing, hair in the dirt. The basement confirmed the nightmare above. Where the maze ended, his mask fell away. Holmes knew exactly what prey the fair would bring. He targeted lone women seeking independence and work. Ads offered roles, stenographers, assistants, waitresses. To them, he seemed a handsome chance at a new life. He was a serial polygamist, proposing to several at once. He required life insurance, naming him beneficiary. Out-of-towners dazzled by the White City needed lodging, and vanished. They checked in, but never checked out. In an anonymous metropolis, a person could disappear for weeks, months, years. He preyed on the lonely, the hopeful, the transient, because they were easiest to erase. Murder was his darkest secret, but fraud bankrolled everything. He bought the lot on credit, then defaulted after lumber, brick, steel, and furniture arrived, a financial phantom moving through aliases. He ensnared Benjamin Patazel, a troubled carpenter, into schemes in the castle's construction. He sold shares in inventions that didn't work. He staged fires and chased payouts until investigators refused a big castle claim. He opened a sham vault for fairgoers. Valuables disappeared. He sold fake remedies with a doctor's smile. To Holmes, the world was a mark. Murder was only the most extreme tool. When the insurance refusal hit and the fair ended, he left Chicago and kept scheming. With creditors closing in, Holmes devised his boldest insurance scam with Patazel. Patazel would fake his death. A substitute cadaver would fool the insurer. Holmes changed the script. He killed Patazel, then burned the body to mimic an accident. He coolly identified the corpse and insured the payout. He told Mrs. Patazel her husband was alive in London. They must travel separately. She entrusted 3 children to him to reunite with their father. He led them on a grim journey across the U.S. and into Canada, sending reassuring letters to their mother. In Toronto, he locked Alice and Nellie in a trunk and asphyxiated them, then buried them in a cellar. Shortly after, in Indianapolis, he killed young Howard and burned the remains in a stove. For a time he looked untouchable, a moving target, just a swindler to the law. In jail for another scam, he bragged to Marion Hedgepeth about the Pittizel fraud. Unpaid and angry, Hedgepeth told the Pinkertons, and the chase began in earnest. Detective Frank Geyer tracked Holmes across cities, hotels, and rentals. In a Toronto cellar of a house Holmes had rented, Geyer found the bodies of Alice and Nellie Pittizel. In Indianapolis, he found the charred remains of young Howard in a chimney. The hunt for a con man had uncovered a monster. Now the nation wanted Holmes most of all. With proof of the children's murders, the pursuit exploded into a national sensation. And the net finally began to close. With the Pittizel discoveries, Chicago police turned to the castle. Inside, rumor gave way to reality. They found soundproof rooms and gas-rigged traps. Chutes led down to the dark below. His personal rooms held tools and toxins. A vault with scratches inside, silent testimony to someone's final moments. Kiln ash, acids, lime, stains, and jewelry, buttons, piles of bones. Papers sensationalized the discovery, blurring fact with fiction. Soon a mysterious fire gutted the castle, but it ensured the story would never be forgotten. In November 1894, Pinkertons arrested Holmes in Boston for horse theft in Texas. He was tried in Philadelphia for the murder of Benjamin Pittizel. The 1895 trial captivated the public. Ever the showman, he acted as his own attorney, cool and eerily calm. But testimony and evidence mounted against him. Guilty of first-degree murder, sentenced to hang. He sold a confession claiming 27 victims, then recanted to 2 before the end. On May 7, 1896, he met his end, calm to the last. He demanded a cement-filled coffin in a deep, unmarked grave. The drop failed to break his neck. He strangled for over 15 minutes. Why does Holmes still haunt us? Because his horror unfolded during a festival of progress. He used science, anatomy, and engineering not to uplift, but to kill. He was the dark side of the American dream. Sensational papers made him myth. Some claimed 200 victims. Investigators could confirm about 9, yet the legend stuck. A handsome sociopath hiding in plain sight, a modern villain archetype. He exploited urban anonymity, a fear that still lives in us. His lies left more questions than answers. How many? Why? So we return to the White City and its dark castle, seeking the man with piercing blue eyes, the charming devil who built a labyrinth of horror in America's heart.